What's going on? Charles Botenston here. Today we're going to be talking about when you screw up, when you make a mistake, when you're doing something and say you're going to the gym consistently, you're eating healthy consistently, you're studying consistently, you are making calls consistently, whatever you're doing, and it's a new habit and you're it's very delicate as a habit, and you miss a day or you screw up or you eat sugar or you don't go to the gym, or you miss the gym, or it snows out, or it rains out, or you have an excuse, or you have a dinner, or you're hungover, or whatever, you always have to say this. I learned this from Brian Johnson. Highly recommend his YouTube channel. It's an incredible YouTube channel, Brian Johnson. And I heard this a couple of months ago, and I literally applied it today. And the reason I applied it today is because I have a new habit of making phone calls. That's why I have this on. It's like the size of, like, I'm landing planes at JFK or something. But the habit I have every single morning from 9 to about 10:30, I make phone calls. And I call people, cold calling, people that are calling for business. There's a lot of yeses, a lot of nos. There's a little fear going on my part. But I want it to become a habit, and I do this forever. Just forever. And yesterday, I came to work. I had an amazing morning routine. I had an amazing gym session. Came to work, 8 o'clock, and I went on. And this is what I talked about. And this is like a combination of everything. So what happened was I came to work, and I went online, and I was like, you know what? I have plenty of time. I'm just going to do a couple of things beforehand. Doing a couple of things beforehand is not in the schedule. That's not in the schedule. You have to understand that. When you have a great schedule and then you either insert something or take something away, your schedule is totally different. And the layer of habits after that, so in other words, I went online and then I went on Facebook and then I went on YouTube. I started answering comments, and then it became 8:30, 8:45, 9 o'clock, and I usually start at 9 o'clock. Then I was like, oh, let me just finish this email up. Then it was 9:15. Then I'm like, well, it's 9:15. I'm like, oh, just get this one thing, 9:30. You know the rest of the story. I never ended up doing the calls. So there's two things to learn about this. And I know that just came out like very like godly, but I've said it before, and I say this as much for me to internalize as it is for you to hopefully take away something, which is, when you screw up, you have to understand why you screwed up, why something happened. You know, why did I eat the cake? Why did I miss the gym? Why didn't I make phone calls? So I said in my mind, I'm like, I can't go on social media. I can't answer emails. Just make the calls. At 9 o'clock, that's it. Drop everything, make the calls. And then the other thing I said is, social media, I can't go on beforehand because there's comments on videos that I have. I subscribe to a lot of videos, so some of them are motivational. And I put that in quotes because I'm like, I don't need it to make the phone calls. I already have motivational videos on my desktop that are saved there that I listen to before making phone calls. And as the observer, you have to observe when you screw up. And when you have a bad habit, you have to observe what happened. You can't see, this is the difference between you and someone that's not successful. Between you and someone that has a not so grateful life. You and someone that lives a life in suffering, which is they observe the good and the bad. So last week, I'm like, what did I do right? What did I do right? What made me have an amazing, amazing week? And then I said, okay, I woke up, I went to the gym, I didn't go on social media, I didn't answer emails, I literally just went and I started making phone calls. And then that led to an amazing lunch, an amazing afternoon, an amazing dinner, and everything else. But then yesterday, I understood, okay, I went on social media. That's what I did wrong. I can't go on social media. You have to understand yourself. If you don't understand yourself, Gary Vaynerchuk says it's self-awareness. Self-awareness to your positive and your negative attributes. As Peter Drucker says, accentuate your positives. Accentuate everything that you bring to the table. Accentuate, so for me, it's my personality and everything else. I'm not the best number cruncher. I give that to someone else. But it's the same thing. Like, I have an addictive personality. If I see something and I do it for, I like go all in. And that's the thing. I was on social media and I stayed on social media. The second thing I could say, and this is almost as important, I'm glad I'm keeping this under a good time frame. This is what Brian Johnson said: when you screw up, it's actually from a book. He said on his YouTube chat. I don't know what book it's from, but when you screw up once, and that's it. That's it. That's it. You missed a day at the gym. You missed a meal of eating healthy. That's it. You missed a day of practice, a day of work, where you're hungover, or a day of work because it was snowing or raining or phone calls. For me, I missed a day. That's it. Never make it 2 days. Never make it 2 days. And the very famous quote, I don't know if it was Gandhi or it might have been. I don't know who actually said it, but the chains of habit are too thick to be broad. This is another one where people are going to be like, dude, you don't know the quote? But essentially, the chains of habit are so brittle on good habits. Good habits are so brittle that they're easy to be broken. And bad habits are just, they're strong. The bad habit of drinking or smoking or not going to the gym or lethargic, the sedentary lifestyle is going to kill more Americans, I guarantee it, within 15, 20 years than car crashes or plane crashes or terrorism or it's just the two things is a sedentary lifestyle that leads to disease, that leads to cancer, that leads to diabetes, that leads to a heart attack or a stroke. You have to get up and move. And that's the biggest thing, is that I know that's a totally different conversation, but number one is if you screw up or you miss a day of something, just know it's a brittle habit already. You have to do it the second day. There's no excuses. You must do it. And the second thing is, think at your brain as an observer, objectively, not subjectively, not coming from the ego, which I'm going to do videos about. You have to say, what made me do this bad habit? So I hope this helps today. Subscribe to the videos. Leave your comments below. Have an awesome day. I'll join in the discussion and get those good habits going.